Good morning and welcome back. Well, what can we expect from the San Diego real estate market as we head into 2025? Real estate associate broker Katy Sullivan is here to talk about that forecast. And Katy, thanks so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I know mortgage rates have been kind of holding off a lot of people from buying a home. It's just getting too expensive with those mortgage rates. But what are we looking at going into the next year? Are they anticipated to drop, stay the same?
Yeah. So right now they're at around 6.8%, and they are forecasted to come down in 2025 to about 6.25%. And I think that is going to invigorate the real estate market again. I think we're pretty optimistic about this year.
Yeah, a few years ago when the interest rates were so low, there was just, everybody was purchasing homes, driving up the prices, like ridiculously, hundreds of thousands of dollars over list price. So in terms of just a small change, which is really a big change when it comes down to the bottom line with your mortgage rate, what is that anticipated to do to home sales?
Home sales. So home sales are predicted to increase about 10% this year, and again the following year in 2026. And if they do continue in that trajectory, we're going to see pre-pandemic levels. So we're going to see a healthy real estate market, a stable real estate market returning to normal.
Yeah, and during COVID, I mean, I'm also a realtor, so I saw it was just, we were all very surprised at how many people were buying homes and moving out of condos, wanting more space, getting into homes.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just a massive buying.
It was nuts. I mean, borrowing from the bank was so cheap that it was encouraged to do so, but that drove up prices. But yeah, so I think we're going to see with interest rates coming down and an increase in home sales, we're going to see the market reinvigorated again.
And talk about home prices. So when the mortgage rates are anticipated to drop, I know you've been following the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors and looking at the predictions for next year. So in terms of home prices stabilizing, going up a little bit,
I think we're going to continue to see home prices appreciate in value and stable. I don't think we're going to see a crazy increase like we did with the pandemic, with the interest rates being record lows. So I do think that real estate in general is going to appreciate in value, but I think we're going to see kind of stabilizing prices.
Yeah, and I know, in San Diego, it's such a tough market, right? Because home prices are just so high. A lot of people have owned their homes for decades, and they're saying, look, I either have a low mortgage or no mortgage at all. If I sell, where am I going to go?
Right.
Because they'd have a mortgage payment for a smaller property, or so
it is one of those big questions right now is it smart to sell? And if so, will I find something? And the answer to that is yes, it's a good time to sell. There's a lot of buyers out there. There's still little supply and a lot of demand. And, inventory is actually up 30% this time compared to last year. So there is more to choose from. And now that we're seeing interest rates slightly come down, I think all that pent up demand that we've been experiencing while people have put things on hold the last couple of years, we're going to start to see that come back.
Yeah, and a question I always get as an agent is, when do I buy? What are prices going to be doing? What are mortgage rates? And I don't have a crystal ball.
No one has a crystal ball. I think the best advice I can give to buyers is be prepared. Be prepared to buy. Control the things that you can control. We can't control what mortgage rates are going to do, and we can't control the broader economic factors as it pertains to real estate. But we can control our credit score. We can control, the research, looking into what loan options are available to us, getting with a trusted lender, getting with a trusted realtor, being prepared so that when that opportunity does strike, you're ready to go.
And talk about, picking a good realtor. There are a few things that you should do in terms of finding the right fit for you, right? Not just an agent who's just going to sell you a house so they can make money, but to pick somebody who's going to work for you to fit your needs.
Absolutely. I mean, there was a surprising statistic from the economists in the National Association of Realtors that 30% of real estate agents are going to be exiting the industry in the next 2 years. So now more than ever, it is so important to pick someone who has integrity, who's educated, and who has your best interest at heart. So you want to ask.
And that's key.
Yeah, do they have experience? How do they communicate? What's their strategy? Can they offer referrals? So it's very, very important to do your research, do your due diligence, and make sure that the person who is representing you aligns with your financial goals.
Yeah, and giving you good guidance along the way for you to, lay out the decisions to the buyer or to the seller to say, look, these are your options. This is what it means.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just
Absolutely.
to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah. Buyers, you want to look at negotiating tactics and timing and being prepared. And with sellers, you want to talk about pricing, marketing, strategy. So it's important to pick someone who's educated, has market knowledge, and your best interests at heart.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much
Yes.
for joining us. So let's cross our fingers that those rates drop just a little bit and get the market moving a little bit more than it is now.
Absolutely. Optimistic for 2025.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.